It looks like the next expansion is going to be really big. I would actually say that it's probably the largest expansion to date. Of course, it's only adding one new region with 69 systems. I like how uh, I like how it's exactly 69 systems. They did that on purpose. You can definitely bet that they did that on purpose. Now, besides the new region, today we have received some new information, or should I say, I found some new information. So far, our current exploration sites don't really have any NPC ships, any NPC ships spawning in when you are trying to open the boxes. Now, in EVE Online, you have some sites that are called ghost sites. Now they are scary since when you warp in, you have a limited time for you to open some boxes before nasty NPC ships spawn in. Now we don't have that in Echoes for the normal sites, but it looks like the Doorlands will have some new exploration sites that might have NPC ship spawns, and I honestly am really excited for that. Not really sure how difficult those ships will be, although I would say that they might be quite troublesome. So yeah, I guess we'll find that out in a couple days. So I'll read something that I see that is on this page here. The Cobalt Edge has various scavenger camps of various sizes, filled with a variety of scavenger drones that are breaking down the wreckage. After defeating the raider drone, there is a chance to obtain a variety of materials used to manufacture ships and equipment. And here we have a picture of a potential site or a potential anomaly, how it might look. Now, I find this really interesting since someone also mentioned belt ratting. Now, right now in Echoes, in the normal systems, we don't really have any rat spawns in belts. There has been some hints that they will add them, and perhaps in this update they might show in the drone systems. We might have belt ratting in the drone lands, which would be very interesting, but there's also a chance that they might add them in the other systems, in the other belts, so that might be quite exciting. In EVE Online, belt ratting is quite interesting, although it's just PvE in the end, but it has a different feel to it, and you also have, in some cases, you can find some very nice spawns that do drop some very valuable items. There's a good chance that this is coming in Echoes with this update. Now, the drones have various ship classes. On the picture you can see that they have some frigates, some destroyers, battlecruisers, and there are even some battleships that I can see here. So it's going to be very interesting. Sister of Eve ships are going to be skyrocketing in value since they are very robust. And you know the picture here, you can actually see that they use a lot of E-warp. They use webs, crawlers, painters, target painters, they use disruptors and dampeners. So drones are definitely going to be the weapon of choice here, since drones are unaffected by NPC ships. However, it would be quite funny if they make them aggro the drones. That's going to end up in some very expensive losses for sure. At the same time, after the battle with the desert UAV, which is a very weird translation, means the drone ship, the researcher developed an integrated technology suitable for UAVs and launched an integrated model of all UAVs, including all 16 types of combat drone. The design of this model integrates several components from the raider drone, enhancing its performance in many ways. Now, based on this translation here, this means that they will be adding 16 new different drones, or perhaps even 16 different modules. Now, this is something that kind of sparked my curiosity, because if we, let's say, had a module that combines both analyzers, for example, then you would be able to use one analyzer for both relic and data sites. And that would actually be very beneficial for ships that only have 3 medium slots. You will have one slot for scanning, one slot for analyzing, and one other slot for a blue or red scanner, or basically any other module that you would like to install on your ship. So that's one way how you can make exploration safer. I say safer, it's definitely not going to be safe, but if you were to use the other classic analyzers in this situation, you have to sacrifice one module, one slot in the medium slots. So having a module that's combining 2 modules in one, that's going to help out a lot for exploring. And I'm definitely looking forward to see more info on that. So far that's just a guess, and I personally have no solid confirmation that there is a analyzer that's combining both analyzers we have. So I guess time will tell on what will happen with that. As the first open distance starfield, the Cobalt frontier is open to sovereign competition like other starfields. This means that you can go and basically capture the systems. You can make them your own home, which is nice. I already know a lot of players are already preparing for a crusade to go towards the drone lands. However, it looks like that there is no Stargate connecting the drone lands with the normal systems. So a wormhole is basically the only way to go in. And that's going to be quite interesting, since it kind of reminds you on the wormhole space. Now, I can confirm that this is not our version of the wormhole space. The wormhole space is something different, and I talked with someone who is basically making this, and they confirmed that the wormhole space is something completely different to the drone region. I specifically did ask them if this is our version of the wormhole space. They said no, it's just drone lands, it's just a new region that is accessible only via a wormhole. So that means down the road we will get actual wormhole space. And honestly, this has so far been a very interesting anniversary. Well, it's technically not the anniversary yet, but it will be the anniversary in the next couple days, and means that they are working on the wormhole space as I'm recording this. Since the developer has been asking for some, I would say, not really advice, but they asked the players to tell them stuff about the wormhole space and wormholes. So yeah, they are working on it, and I would say this is a warm-up to the actual wormhole space. Now, I'm quite interested in the drone region and in the drone lands. It's going to be a very interesting update. Of course, not the largest. There's going to be even a larger update after this, since there are 7 more regions to be released, and they will be released with time. I would actually say next month we might see the whole thing released, which will be quite interesting. This is kind of it looks like a testing phase of them testing out how it will work, and before they launch the whole thing, it looks like they're testing out the waters to tweak out some things when they launch this system. So in one of the next updates you can expect the entire drone region to land. And then I would actually say maybe around November, October, maybe December, around that time, we might see the actual wormhole space released. Now, why do I say that? Well, a long time ago, maybe like last year or something, I remember the developers talking about launching Yangyun, and they did kind of plan to do that at the end of this year, or at the time at the end of the last year. Now, since stuff happened, they kind of postponed that. There's a good chance that they will launch that at the end of this year, which does correspond with some of my theories about Yangyong being located inside of actual wormhole space. So that's a very interesting thing that kind of matches with what I have been expecting for the last, I don't know, couple years, I think. Well, not couple years. What I'm talking about, for the past couple months. But it felt like years, to be honest. So that's just my speculation. If we do end up getting wormhole space at the end of the year, there's a good chance that we might find Yangyong ships inside. Now, so far, my estimates have been quite accurate. I'd also talk about the new materials and new ships. Now, the new ships, there are some things that I'm not allowed to talk about here, so going to leave it at a cliffhanger here, but there is some exciting new things coming up as well that I'm personally looking forward to, besides the wormholes. I mean, it's definitely something that a lot of players have been waiting for a while, and it's a interesting step, I would say, in the right direction. So the next big thing that they should do is open up wormholes and open up Yangyong. I did say that a long time ago, and I'll say it again. Good chance that Yangyong ships will be located inside of actual wormhole space, and that would be very interesting. Now, there's also something else here. Scouting outpost. Due to impact of the environment, ordinary clone outposts, legion outposts, and auxiliary buildings cannot be anchored in the Cobalt edge. Apple Group has upgraded and improved the ordinary outpost and level, and developed an anchor that can be anchored in the new region, a designated outpost, reconnaissance outpost. Now this means that you can't really place the ordinary structures inside of the drone region. Now that's actually quite interesting. So they mentioned environment, impact of the environment. There's a good chance that the drone lands will have different weather. It's very similar to the system that we have in EVE Online. Basically, different weather means that you have different impacts of performance of your ship. Sometimes it reduces resistance, sometimes it increases damage, reduces damage, stuff like that. So good chance that that might be added with the new updates, and honestly I kinda see that happening. Could be something quite interesting.
Warp drive active.
I know weather is also found in wormhole space, and weather can also be found in null regions in the PC version of the game. No, I myself wasn't really a fan of the weather system. Sometimes it felt a bit odd and felt a bit weird, but it might add a bit of I guess, what kind of feel would it add to the game? I personally have no idea, but definitely would be interesting, I would say. So yeah, exciting stuff ahead. Now, what am I mostly excited about? Well, I'm mostly excited about wormholes, since you can't have wormholes without wormhole space, and this is one very nice way, and I would say a smart way in a way, to test out the wormholes to see how they work, because you don't want to have a wormhole eating your ship in developer space, let's say, somewhere where you can't get out. And we had some very hilarious bugs in the game in the past, including ships dying when they literally dock a certain station. So yeah, just because we had a lot of interesting bugs like that, I actually prefer to have all this rolled out slowly without rushing, since it's easy to mess up, and it's easy to cause a lot of damage to a lot of ships that can accidentally get yeeted off into space. Imagine you enter a wormhole and your ship explodes, or imagine you enter a wormhole it collapses and it kills your ship. There's definitely a lot of potential for hilarious bugs to show up. So a slow rollout is definitely appreciated, since I definitely do not want to eat my Nestor in a wormhole and then to have it just die there. And I would, speaking of wormholes and collapsing, there's been a talk that all ships might be able to pass through. Now there's a good chance that when they did word that, it means that the wormholes, as in general term wormholes, can allow all ship sizes to pass through. Now that doesn't really necessarily mean, although it could be that it could mean that all ships might pass through any wormhole, but at the same time there's a good chance that they are separated, that you have big wormholes, small wormholes, medium size, small size, basically in a way how our current rift system works. You have large rift, medium rift, and small rift. So in the small rift only frigates, in the medium rift cruisers, and in the large rift battleships. Could be that they create the wormholes in such a way that you have different sizes of wormholes. You have wormholes where only frigates can go through, you have wormholes where cruisers and frigates can go through, and you have the big ones where you can roll in a capital ship. Now, there is still no detailed info on the weight limitations. However, they did call them unstable wormhole. Unstable meaning that it's not stable, of course, but good chance that the wormhole can be entered once or twice before it collapses. So make sure that you are stockpiled on fuel. Make sure that you have a equipped ship for the job, and I have to admit I don't have a good ship for that at the moment. I've been stuck with the Stratus build for a couple of days now, and I hit a dead end, and I have absolutely no idea what to do with it. I think I just might go in with a tank build, but I don't know. I'm kind of stuck with the Stratus since I don't know what to expect, and when you don't know what to expect, making a proper build for the situation is, yeah, not really that easy. So definitely we'll have to see how it looks before I decide on what I'll do. But yeah, go in prepared. Never share the location of your wormhole, and pray that you get good loot. I'm definitely going to be inside of wormholes, and I don't know how it will end up. It's going to be a I feel like it's going to be a chaotic experience, to be honest. 69 systems. I mean, if I can find one system where no one goes to, I'll be happy, because that's going to be one of my new homes in the future. And definitely excited to see how that goes. So that was this little update and more things that I wanted to share with you guys. Overall, I'm quite excited. I was, as you guys can see, what I was talking about a long time ago, I mean a month or two ago, completely random. I nailed it. I nailed this dead on. Kind of scary how accurate I was with my prediction about this next update, but yeah, was a big surprise even for me. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely be very careful when you are venturing out into the drone lands. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a dumpster fire, as I like to put it. When I say dumpster fire, it's going to be chaos and PvP everywhere. I mean, you know, Eve stuff, new content, new stuff. Everyone will go to see what they can do there, and honestly, kind of exciting since we haven't had something like that, I think, ever. This is the first time that such a colonization move is actually taking place, and we will see how it will roll out. So with that being said, if you want to support me, feel free to like and subscribe, and with that being said, stay safe. As always, I'll see you next time.